This is CRM Audio, the Dynamics 365 podcast with Business Solutions MVPs Joel Lindstrom, George Dubinsky, and Sean Tabor. This episode is sponsored by Maplytics by Analogic. Maplytics by Analogic is a market-leading certified for Microsoft Dynamics 365 geo-analytical mapping app. Maplytics empowers users with powerful map visualization and routing capabilities within Dynamics CRM to drive better sales, improve business processes, and engage the right customers at the right time. Maplytics now works with Dynamics 365 version 9 and Dynamics 365 app for mobile and tablet. Analogic is leading Microsoft Gold Dynamics CRM ISV, delivering best-in-class Dynamics 365 solutions, as well as cost-effective and high-quality programming services. We thank Maplytics by Analogic for sponsoring CRM Audio, the Dynamics 365 podcast.
Hey Joel, how are you?
Hey George, I'm doing great. How are you?
I suppose I'm as well as I could be, considering the circumstances. So,
what happened?
Oh, well, I had the first class experience with German trains, so as a result, I'm not where I'm supposed to be this evening. So, to cut the long story short, I had the long layover in Frankfurt before taking the next flight, and I got this advice, which was good advice. So when you have a long layover, you may want to go. If you've never been to Frankfurt, definitely go to Frankfurt. But I've been to Frankfurt before. So Heidelberg, it's a small town, about 1 hour from Frankfurt, and it's a wonderful town. It's got the old castle, and it's got old cobblestone streets, and very nice medievalish kind of old town where you can have lunch, have German beer, and so on and so forth. So, okay. So to get there, you get there on #German train, right? So because it's a small town, you get there in 2 hops. One is express, which takes you to Mannheim, and then there is a local train, like 3 stations, literally like 15 minutes, and you're there. And it all went almost well on the way there, so the express was a bit late, but it still gave me 1 minute to hop between the platforms, and it was all well. Now, going back was a different story, so I catch the local train that is running late, and it's like 10 minutes late. And, of course, express on this occasion leaves on time. So I missed the express. No worries. I deliberately took the one that gave me over an hour before I need to check in. So I catch the next one. The next express leaves on time but arrives 15 minutes late, and I miss my boarding.
Now, aren't German trains supposed to always run on time?
Well, they... Exactly. So that's what I thought, and that's what they used to know for. But then I looked at the boards of train board, and it's like, this train is 40 minutes late, this one is 15 minutes late, and it's like, what happened? Am I in Germany anymore? It's like... Anyway, so I'm really chiseled at German trains because they cost me a few €100 because airlines take a full advantage of your inability to schedule time, or full advantage of inability of German trains to arrive on time, and they charge you arm and a leg. But those of you who travel, here's one thing that you probably want to know about when running late. So when you book a ticket, and you fly, say, from A to B, and for simplicity's sake, you fly back from B to A, and you book it on one ticket, on what travel agents call PNR, passenger name record, right? It's a one ticket. So you go from, from Atlanta to Paris and back. If you miss your Atlanta flight, that counts as didn't show, right? So you forfeited the ticket. But the funny thing is, you forfeited both legs. So suddenly your return ticket is no longer valid. So you can't just say, oh, I'll show up a day later and everything's going to be fine. No, you just effectively ruined your whole journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't be late.
No, some people not aware of that, and luckily I had my forward tickets on a different booking because I couldn't make up my mind. So my agent kept changing the tickets and kept cursing me. But now I said, "See, I was right." Anyway, I guess there's first time for everything, and first time George missed the flight. So.
Well, I know people who travel frequently that frequently buy one-way tickets for both ways. That way, they have maximum flexibility in case they need to change their mind or change where they're going.
Correct.
They don't lose the whole trip.
Yeah, you're on different bookings. Having said that, do not ever book connecting flights on different bookings, because if you miss one because airline delays, airlines are not responsible. Same way as trains are not responsible for getting you to the flight on time. So
okay. Well, we're not a travel podcast. We're a dynamics podcast. So let's look at some of the news. So 9.0.2 is going out. Have you gotten the 9.0.2 environment yet?
Yeah, I did have a class earlier this week before travel, and all the organizations provisioned all the trials. They were in 9.0.2, so that's a good news. And with every Dynamics 365, you get CDS environment as expected. So it's fine. So you get the full model. So you provision all the solutions, and they show up. All the models, all the entities, they show up in CDS environment. Now, what people need to remember is that you can, in theory, go in reverse. So you go to CDS and you provision CDS database, and it shows up as Dynamics database,
right?
Dynamics environment. But you cannot add any solutions to it. Solution import fail. You did try one of those.
I tried it.
One didn't fail.
Right. No. Here's what happened. So I did set one up, and I started from the business platform. admin.businessplatform.microsoft.com, which is where if you want to go set up a CDS environment, which is basically what I call a naked CRM environment with none of the system entities, just the admin part and the ability to create. You can do solutions and everything. You can then go into the Dynamics Admin Center in Office 365 and start adding solutions. I got some of them to work. I got the CRM Hub app to install. I could not get the Sales Hub to install. I didn't try the customer service, but here's the interesting thing I noticed.
I did try. It didn't.
Once I put the CRM Hub in there, I had the kind of the default custom solution. The one that has like the full blown CRM in that environment. So apparently the CRM Hub added most of the system entities, but it didn't. There's things that they don't want us yet doing that, I guess, is what I gather. It doesn't quite work.
The keyword, I suppose, is yet. So the objective is down the track. The process is going to be fully symmetrical. So it really doesn't matter where you provision from. And if you provision from CDS, you will get what, let's call it naked XRM. No, not even naked XRM. You will get what goes making rounds as CRM Prime. And you'll hear the references. I think it's internal name, but
we talked about that with Charles Lamanna.
Correct. So you will get this CRM Prime, and you will be able to add solutions to it inside Dynamics 365. So not yet, but it will get there. But everything is kind of starts falling into pieces. Into place of pieces.
It might fall into pieces here. But the confusing thing, and some people were asking me, okay, so great, now we got CDS. How do I access that? And so, what you need to know is if you're starting from CRM, do it the same way you've done it. But then once you've done that, you can go to web.powerapps.com and you can build a Power App on top of that environment, or you can go to admin.businessplatform.microsoft.com and access that, and access it more through the CDS type of interface.
But
and so that's
Yeah, but you have to be aware that there's slightly different licenses when you access from your Power Apps. There are two ways to access your Dynamics 365. One is as your data source, as any other data source, I suppose. It's just an external data source for you. The other one is CDS. So I'm still confused. The CDS one would come under different licensing. That's my understanding. So that's kind of directly pedal to the metal kind of connection.
I guess it depends on how you're using it. If you have an environment but you're not using any of the core CRM solutions, then you're technically just a CDS license.
Okay. Well, just something to be aware of. Yeah, there will be different types of licensing, how you're accessing depending on how you're accessing your environment. But, yeah.
I did notice. Okay, when you set your environments up for your training classes, are you setting it up with the don't do anything option, or are you choosing the sales or customer service
It depends
options?
on the class that is running. The one that I did was kind of, you can say, advanced customization configuration, but I had lots of green people who never seen CRM before. So it's easier. I find it's the easiest is probably Sales Hub or Sales or customer service, either one. But get them something.
So, because here's the interesting experience that I had 2 days ago. It may have changed, but on my personal Dynamics 365 environment, I decided, okay, I want to see if I can get 9.02, because I hadn't updated my core personal environment yet, and it was still on 8.2, so I'm going to recreate my organization and just see if I get a 9.02 vanilla organization. I created it, and I checked the boxes for the field service and sales, and when you choose those, it creates the org really fast because it's using kind of a template for the org. And I got 8.2 still as of 2 days ago. But when I checked the don't do anything box that gives you just CRM Prime, if you will, with none of those solutions pre-configured, it takes a lot longer because it's actually provisioning a new org. And then I got 9.0.2.
That's right.
So it seemed like some of those templates may not be, or may not have yet been updated to 9.0.2 yet.
Interesting. I provisioned. I'm just checking what I did provision, and I think I provisioned sales, and sales did give me I'm just confirming that, but it did give me version 9.0.2.
But it's interesting. You log into a 9.0.2 environment, and I can't tell if I'm in 9.0.2 or 9.0.1 unless I'm looking for CDS or looking for some of the newer solutions for 9.0.2. Visually it doesn't look that much different.
Because you never go into solutions area. Solution area now says Power Apps.
If I go into the solutions area, but I'm just saying first screen login experience, it doesn't feel any different.
No, but it getting them even more confusing. Can you tell me the difference between the URL that you mentioned, admin.businessplatform.microsoft.com, and admin.powerapps.com?
I don't know. That's a good question, because you basically see the same thing, right?
Except the logo in the left corner.
Right. And there again, the admin.businessplatform.microsoft.com doesn't give you all the options that the Dynamics admin portal in Office 365 does to clone and manage your environment either. So I'm sure this is going to come together. The business platform admin center feels a lot more modern than the old instance picker inside of Office 365. That thing is buried 10 levels deep and very hard to get to. At least this, you have a very easy to use URL to get to. So I'm sure this will come together.
Interesting. The one change that I noticed that in good old Dynamics 365 Admin Center is the region selector is now, it still has one region by default, but it lights up. So before it wasn't even there until your environment is multi-geo. So now it lights up. You still need to contact support to give you the multi-geo abilities, that is ability to provision instance in different data centers, but it lights up from the get-go. So my understanding is that it will eventually, any installation will become multi-geo installation by default.
And that doesn't mean your instance will be in multiple data centers. It just means you'll be able to provision different instances on your tenant.
Correct. They're absolutely independent. As I understand, that will the one thing that holds it off a bit is that they need to get all the environments up to the, I assume, the same version, or they need to be in Azure, all of them, because I don't know, all environments, all 9 environments are in Azure, but I suspect that there are some old environments that are still hanging around where, Dynamics is managed separately. It's not Azure environment. Anyway, enough of the environments. Anything else new?
There is an update on the portals for version 8.4.1. What they published on the Dynamics blog is they've added search capabilities. So from the portals, you can search within KB articles and web files as well.
Okay, that's great. And if it's powered by the same search used by Dynamics, relevant search, or is it different?
I'm not sure. It didn't really give that much detail. But on this note, I was thinking about the marketing solution. I was talking to a customer about it, and to me, the jury's still out as far as what market adoption will be. I think the licensing needs a little tweaking. Seymour Dew wrote a blog post basically illustrating how they are basing it on the number of contexts you have.
Did you just use the word tweaking?
Yeah, like tweaking, changing.
Tweaking.
Yeah, you like you build something, then it's not quite right, so you just tweak it a little bit.
You need a quadruple bypass. It's like you call quadruple bypass. You need just a bit of tweaking surgery.
No, I'm saying the product is good. The licensing model needs to be updated. I don't think
the heart is good. All the vessels are in good shape. We just need quadruple bypass.
No. Here's the thing. I think somebody built the license model with a misunderstanding of Adobe's license model and Marketo's licensing model. All of those solutions license it based on number of contacts, but they distinguish between marketing contacts and other contacts. Choose segment, ignore disabled ones. So that's what I mean. You add a few things to the license model, it becomes a lot better.
Look, it's really annoying. I'm going to take a good swing at it because the pattern continues. Technical teams deliver, and it happened, it's not the first time it happened, but technical team delivers a good solid solution that even delivers new capabilities that we haven't seen before, and when I say we haven't seen, like in this domain, we haven't seen before, and they did deliver some of the capabilities. Yeah, people say some of the kind of must-have marketing capabilities are not there, but it's arguable. Anyway, so they delivered something solid in terms of the product. And then, licensing team comes along and starts playing catch-up, looking at what the competition is doing. Oh, they're doing that. We must match that. Instead of taking this as an opportunity to lead the way to create something new in the area of licensing. The way we measure things in the new world. So they're still dragging their feet and they're trying to catch up with other products instead of saying, look, forget about other products. Let's be creative. That's what annoys me most. That licensing team seems to be, they don't have this creative spark. Instead of creating something new, they playing catch up. It's really annoying. And
right, but let me finish my thought.
Devalue.
Here's why I want Dynamics 365 for marketing to be successful. The reason is because I see it if the fact that it leverages these other Dynamics functionalities like Voice of the Customer and Dynamics 365 portals, by it succeeding, those pieces get better. And while Portals has had a lot of attention, Voice of the Customer, after it was released, it hasn't gotten a tremendous amount of love or changes, but now that it's part of marketing, we see the interface is getting updated for unified client. Hopefully some of these kludgy things of the way it's configured will be worked out, and so that to me is why I want marketing to succeed. I want Microsoft to have a good marketing platform, but I see it as a potential of driving improvements in these related technologies now that they're part of the marketing stack.
Well, that's understandable, and we did have a similar discussion long time ago when I said that sometimes products within the products, something like Unified Service Desk, they drive platform capabilities because one of the internal teams, and the example we used, Unified Service Desk, needed a certain feature or certain features that were not in the product, but because they were required internally to deliver something else, they were given a priority, a green light and priority in the development cycle. So suddenly we had things like package deployer until Unified Service Desk team said that we need that to install, right? We had a lukewarm response from the team when we were raising the issue of we don't have installer for solutions. And then suddenly, boom, 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 we had package deployer. So I suppose the similar process is here, that one of the products within the stable or lineup needs certain capabilities that are driven by another product. So yeah, that's kind of it's interesting. Yeah, so within the marketing, and a good example would be even smaller features like rich context editor, the editor that we get, HTML editor, that was created by the marketing.
Yeah, absolutely.
The team who created marketing, not by Microsoft marketing team.
Right. But I think the other piece of it, some of the UI enhancements for the customer journey, whatever, that would be great to see that incorporated into the workflow designer.
Do you talk to your customers like that as well when you pitch and you're saying like, and here we're going to do customer journey or whatever?
Well, since marketing just came out, I can't say I've pitched it to many people, but I have talked about customer journey. But you can't say customer journey without saying that's what they call campaigns, because everybody understands campaigns. Very few people, unless you're maybe in marketing and use marketing-esque language, you don't really. If I say customer journey,
there is a difference even to me, and I'm not marketing guy, and I know very little about marketing. Even to me, that sounds like different concepts, because campaign, your focus is on your delivery of the marketing message to a number of clients, customers, prospects, name them whatever you want, whilst customer journey is more about journey of individual, of a campaign projection on the individual customer. So you're kind of taking a different point of view on the same thing.
Right. No, I think I like the term customer journey. I just don't feel a lot of people have adopted it yet. But if you follow it through, it's the journey of somebody who's not your customer becoming your customer. That's a good to me, it works. Campaign is more of a blast, or customer journey sounds better to me than nurture campaign or drip campaign, which are the common terms people call it. So
it's kind of drip campaign that smells of spam, doesn't it?
Or you're being tortured by the Chinese water torture.
Or that. Yeah.
So the one more thing is the offline experience for mobile in version 9. It's not out yet, and what we've heard from Microsoft support is that it's they're not onboarding other people into it right now while they work out some issues with it.
So what do you reckon? They found some fundamental flaws, or they found that certain things don't work the way they expected them to work? Well, what's your take on that?
Right. Well, in general, not just 8. Not just version 9, but even version 8 and 8.2, the offline functionality is good if you are good for it. Here's what I mean by that. If you are somebody who is primarily online and every now and then loses connectivity and needs to be able to access not your entire database, not your entire set of records, not every customer, but maybe your active opportunities and your most important customers, and the challenge that I see, and I was a pretty early adopter, but we had a number of clients who deployed it, some of which are using it every day, and if you fit that profile, it works well. If you have the expectation that I'm going to be offline most of the time, or I need to be offline first, think back the old Lotus Notes way, where we're working mainly disconnected, or we're working even large retail stores. You go in the U.S., you'll get poor connectivity, or you're on flights without Wi-Fi, or even flights with Wi-Fi, because generally flight Wi-Fi is terrible. If that's a primary feature for you, not something like a secondary enabler, but a primary feature, we have to have this or we won't succeed. I don't think it has been ready for that, because, number one, you can only use it in production environments. Number two, there's not really much detail provided about when you're hitting the limit of data that will be more than it can handle efficiently. And so what I'm hopeful is, and what feedback I've given Microsoft is, we need more admin control. We need to have more visibility for, here's, with this offline filter setup, here's how many records it's going to give me, and here's the idea of how in line we are with the expected success. And if offline is your primary concern, you want to talk to Resco. Resco, as you know, does the field service app for Microsoft, which field service is a prime case where you do have places where you're going places that may not have connectivity, and it works really well because that's the core focus of what Resco does. But if you are a mainly online and casually need offline, but it won't kill you if you can't get offline sometimes, then the Microsoft offline is solid as far as we found it to be. But again, you need to make sure you're a good fit for it.
Okay, but you still can't right now. So because
right on version 9, a big thing is if you're using it in version 8, I would hold off on upgrading until Microsoft releases version 9, because it will stop working.
Yeah. So if offline is important to you, then do not upgrade your 8.2 version to 9, because it will most likely stop working.
Right.
The offline capability. Okay, great.
Right, and the other thing, I can see why there may be some other factors at play here. So, for example, in version 9, they added app module-specific offline profiles. So I can imagine that that's causing some potential complexity, because, say I've got your customer service app module and sales app module, and I can switch between them, and I have a different offline profile. That's, you now have a more complex sync scenario.
Okay. What else new?
I think that's the news. Not a lot of other stuff.
Not a lot. I guess some of the stuff I suspect is the team is holding back a bit because I expect some announcements at CRM UG EMEA, though maybe not a lot, but at least something. And then there is don't get me started. How many conferences we have now?
Well, that's partly our fault for complaining that there's no more convergence. So now they had to bring another one for convergence.
Which is what? Which is
it's the Dynamics something.
Business platform something.
Yeah.
They scheduled in the middle of this summer in July.
Well, if you think about it, you go any earlier, you go a couple weeks later, you hit Partner Conference. You go later, you hit CRMUG and Extreme 365 and Focus.
You hit Ignite.
You hit Ignite. Yeah, there's people are saying that's during July when everybody in Europe is off for holidays, but there's not really another great time of year to do it.
But here's the funny thing. I had clients of mine in US who said that she's going to Ignite, and she picked up like pre-conference, and she wants to be up to date with the technical advances. I said, look, realistically, it's a bit too much in terms of technical knowledge. It is a technical conference for you as a customer. I know you're capable, and I know you're knowledgeable. You kind of this good level business power user, borderline citizen developer, and it's still, I believe, a bit too much. And then there's this business platform, business application conference comes up, and I said, look, this is the perfect fit for you. But then she looked and came back and said, look, but there's no agenda, right? There's keynote,
right.
9 to 10 a.m., and then there are breakout sessions for the day, but no one knows what they are. So business currently can't justify. If we want to resurrect convergence, we want to bring everyone,
right,
partners and customers.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, we remember a couple of years ago after convergence went away and they brought out the other conference. The first year that conference didn't go so well, and these things take a long time to plan and get people lined up and get a flow and of how the conference goes and feels. So going to the first year is somewhat risky. Now it could be good, but again, I think it takes the conference a year or two to get its personality and really understand why is this here. So I actually am going to Ignite. I haven't gone for several years, so I thought I would go there, and I actually registered before this other conference was mentioned. Then I'll do CRMUG Summit, and that's enough. All I have time for the rest of the year.
I'll see you. I'll see you at both.
Good. Okay.
So they are about 2 weeks apart. So for me, when I fly, if I make my flight, then I better stay where I am. So I figured once I get to US, the same way as right now, I get to Europe and I stay here. So first leg didn't work out, but hopefully the rest of my trip is going to be a bit better.
All right. Well, thanks, George.
Well, thank you very much. My spirit is up. I guess you can say that your spirit lifts up when you realize that other people have even more miserable day than you do. So.
I feel better when I realize I'm not sitting at the train station like you, George.
German train, no, never again. Never again. We need hashtag.
Take the Swiss train next time.
No, look, my vote goes to Japanese trains. Every time I've been to Japan, it's like it's a machine. It's a machine. And what's interesting about it is that this is exactly what we have in Dynamics. They have like 5 or 6 different companies, right? Think of them as different products. Each one is independent, run independently, operates independently. But you get this one ticket, a piece of cardboard regardless, you're going from A to Z through 70 different stations, and you still get this cardboard ticket. On that ticket, there's precisely all the information they need to know to drive your journey from A to Z. It's amazing how it works, right? And the things like when you catch multiple trains, they give you the stack of tickets and you feed them into the machine. You feed the entire stack and the machine figures out which one to take out. It's really impressive, and they do arrive on time and they do leave on time. And when you have connection, even if it's 3 minutes, it's gonna work. Unlike German trains. On that note, I'm checking out. Good night.
This has been CRM Audio, the Dynamics 365 podcast. Send us your feedback at voice@crm.audio. Check out our other shows at crm.audio or subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and any place else podcasts are offered. This podcast is a production of Dynamics Podcast LLC.